Chat.
Hey, y'all. Don't mind
We are
me.
here. We are live. And that's all we can guarantee right now.
I can guarantee
Lindsay,
running
how you
this here.
doing? How you doing, Lindsay?
Y'all, we wish that we would have gone live about 48 seconds sooner because, oh my stars, is there coffee still all over me?
Not all over you. I don't see any on you.
Oh my stars. It was horrible. It was a nightmare. I'm trying to get all level here with where Nili is, and it's fine. I just breathed coffee instead of drink coffee. And so then I sort of like sputtered it all out, and it created tears.
I got to see everything.
There was lots of pressure behind it. I don't cry because of feelings. I cry because of physical pressure forcing the moisture from my eyeballs.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
That was exciting.
Well, now your
all over my
white
t-shirt
hair is coffee colored.
Coffee colored everything. I just cleaned that stinking chair too because okay, hang on. Reversing. If you're freshly entering the room, I just tried to inhale coffee and it came out of my face all over a chair. Yes. Now this is sad because this particular chair, this exact chair, just had an entire cup of coffee spilled on it on Saturday morning from one of my children on accident. And so I had to go in with the carpet cleaner with like the little attachment to fully clean it. It looked pristine. It is the cleanest that chair has looked since it was brought home new, I'm sure. And so it was one of those moments where it was like, oh, that was so much work. And now
your husband is rolling his eyes at you.
Is wasted.
And Dustin says breathing coffee is the next evolution of man, which you were just trying to be more evolved than all of us before it's cool. You're always on the trends.
I either am way out, like I'm an outlier on all things, right? I'm either way in the front of all the trends well before they even become a trend, or I lag so far behind that I'm like, I don't want to be part of it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I lag so far behind that when I actually do end up trying it, everyone's like, oh, something new. Because it was so over. Like I waited forever to try the fathead dough.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, oh wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I just am like 5 years behind. That's all.
That's fine. It's totally fine. You're catching it on the next wave.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's always the waves. Like everything comes up. So if you don't get on the first one, just wait and like do it a little bit before you expect it to come, and then you'll be the one that starts it.
That's right. Also, I would like to add in that Jared has said that there's new rules. I'm not allowed to have coffee in this room, and I'm not going to disagree with him. Yeah, I really am not.
Sometimes those husbands need to give us some rules. We need it.
Well, it's really more about like helping us manage ourselves. It's not really about like a control thing. It's really like, listen, I'm noticing this pattern here. Maybe we don't continue on this pattern because it doesn't seem to be benefiting anybody.
Right. I had to make a rule for my children to not eat food in the living room anymore.
Oh.
Because I got a new rug. And I was like, it's not worth it. Like we have a big enough space. You do not need to eat food in my living room. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We're real big on the kids don't eat in the living room unless we're doing a picnic where it's on an actual like waterproofed picnic blanket type situation. Yes. And everybody's cup has a lid that is like a positive lock kind of a lid.
Yes. So before that rule was fully realized among all the children, Renee decided it would be a great idea to bring a bucket of fresh picked blackberries to the coffee table for everyone to just, enjoy. Yeah. This is why we have rules.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of thinking that people in this house have. Now, thankfully, everything turned out fine. I was able to intercept before
it became a thing.
But like over my brand new rug that's like a light gray.
Yeah. That will easily show all of the things
Forever and ever and ever. Like if
yeah.
My rug life flashed before my eyes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah.
That's the kind of thinking that goes on, which is why we need to have these rules.
Yep.
Because, you would think you'd like, oh, we should be able to know, like from common sense, that it's not a great idea to bring blackberries, but that you can't rely on that. You just
really can't.
That's why you have to have the rules.
That's right.
Yeah.
Common sense allows us to learn rules allow us to learn what common sense actually looks like.
Yes. Well, and sometimes lack of rules help us to experience the
consequences of
no common sense. Yeah. Yes. Well, we have lots of people in the chat this morning. Of course, Blaze is here.
Hi, Blaze.
First, asking about Amazon storefront. Do you have an Amazon storefront?
I do.
Okay. Are you able to link I think you're able to link in the chat. You should be able to. Anyways, if you want to link your Amazon storefront. Oh, and you're gone.
I'm here.
We can still hear you. We just can't see you. That's fine. Blaze is here, of course. Joanne is here saying good morning. Charlotte, Dustin is here. Hello, lovely people. Jacob is here. Sing It is here from Chicago. Michelle Baker is here. You made it to a live, Michelle. Rickwin is here, as always. Your wonderful husband is here. Let's see. Haley is here. Good morning. Naomi is here. A huge fan. We love it. We love it.
Okay. I am still here. I'm sorry. I'm going to pop. I can't do anything on the chat with Restream.
Oh.
But I might be able to come into the actual live chat. So hang on 2 seconds. It's going to be weird on the volume.
All right. Platte River Keto is here. Hello. Jack is here. Glad to catch us live. Sing It. Nili's Bread. All of them.
Amazon storefront too. Oh, hi. Hi. I did it.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
Your voice was catching up to the video. I think it's good now. Oh. And I see a link. So hopefully that works.
Am I back?
You're back.
Huzzah.
Yeah, it's funny when you come back, it like takes a minute for your video to catch up with your mouth.
I feel like it takes my brain a while to catch up to my mouth too. So
right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I keep accidentally highlighting things. Let's see. That was Mary saying, hello, everyone. Had to pop on and say hi, but watching on my TV. Oh, yes. Isn't that crazy to think people watch us on their TV?
I think it's fantastic. I wish we could watch shorts on TV. Jared was, so we've, I'm going to sidetrack us for 12 seconds. It's going to be longer. This year we're studying physics, hence my Dino Physics t-shirt.
Excellent. Velociraptor, yes.
We can read it later. But so we found this YouTube channel that has lots of really awesome shorts where they demonstrate a lot of different physics principles. They also do a lot of like chemistry principles and things. So, and it's hilarious, but they're on shorts. And so Jared, I think he was trying to cast it from his phone onto the TV and it wouldn't do shorts. So if we could do shorts on the TV, that would be really awesome. So then we could see them in a like more like, I don't know, realistic sort of size to make it more, I don't know.
Yeah.
Visible, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But anyway. Okay.
So says, such a sweetheart, that Renee, and that it is so true. Like all she was thinking about was that the people in the living room would enjoy eating blackberries. Like that's her heart.
She's got the gift of hospitality.
She really does.
That's fantastic. I am definitely working on that skill.
We try to be hospitable around here.
It's not my forte, so I challenge
Chris
myself.
Bear is here.
Hello, Chris Bear.
Chris says, I made Lindsay go away.
He made
when
Lindsay...
he showed up, I guess.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, Dustin says he and Chris Bear are going to meet this weekend. This weekend. What's this weekend?
What are y'all doing? Are you doing secret things that nobody's allowed to know about, but you're going to tease us with them anyway and say that I have the right to say nothing?
Chris Bear says, how's that? Okay, now there's more conversation. Okay. Oh, in Tennessee.
What's happening in Tennessee?
I don't know. I'm all out of the loop.
Same.
Holly and Steve will be there. Miriam and Chris will not. That is sad time. Yeah. Okay.
A Dr. Barry Tennessee conference.
Oh, are they doing the
PhD summit?
I hadn't heard anything about that.
I hadn't either. We would have to go look at lowcarbevents.com.
Yes, which we should. Except there's never any events near me, so it always makes.
How is it that you're able to like go over to a different window and like pull things up without losing your video?
I don't know.
You're on an actual laptop, right?
Magic. Yeah, I am on a laptop. Are you on a tablet?
Yeah.
That might be it. That might be it.
Lowcarbevents.com. It's not called Proper Human Diet Conference. I thought it was the summit. Oh, it's low carb for better health.
Oh, I didn't even know
the 26th.
Is that like Barry's actually putting that one on?
I don't know. I'm clicking in. It has a really cute little graphic with like a little heartbeat thing, and then a whole bunch of cattle and sheep and pigs and chickens and bunnies and fish.
Interesting. Okay, of course, Chris comes in with the technical information here.
You can mirror. You know, Jared was I think he was mirroring it from his phone.
Also them TikToks.
But maybe not. Maybe not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris is
Dr.
asking
Amanda Decker.
Oop, I'm mirrored. So I am eating yogurt, Greek yogurt. It's some Faye Greek yogurt mixed with some of my El Ruderai Greek yogurt and Equip Prime Protein chocolate. But ice cream sounds delicious as well. That's what Chris is eating. I have been running around this morning and I was not able to eat before we started. And my food was still sitting here and I was like, it looks very tasty. So
diving in. This coffee over here.
Yeah.
Right there. I really want to drink it. But after Jared said no more coffee for Lindsay in this room, I was like, that's wise. Who knows what's going to happen? So we're just going to pump the brakes on it. Yeah. I had a chocolate keto chow this morning for breakfast because I failed to eat hardly anything yesterday until dinner time. And so I was like, you know what? We're not playing that game 2 days in a row. I'm going to go ahead and have a real breakfast, and I had real lunch, and we plan on having real dinner tonight, as opposed to, like that fake dinner and whatnot.
Yes. I have been enjoying a lot of chocolate keto chow core.
Yes.
It's available in the big bags now, and I ordered a couple. And
you ordered a couple of those bags?
I did.
I should have ordered 2. I only ordered 1.
That was a fail.
It was. But I was also
at least Chris said that they're going to be stocked for a while.
I was also desperate for blueberry pie because that one is seasonal and I don't know when the season ends. So
I'm still stocked up on blueberry pie.
I am getting low. And so core with stevia is my first favorite. Blueberry pie is my second favorite. I have yet to deviate. No matter what comes out up to this point, I've yet to deviate. Though Jared seems to really he's really enjoying the pina colada quite a lot.
Oh, good.
Oh, and Jared flew solo yesterday with making keto chow for the creamy himself.
Wow.
And then making one to drink for himself. He managed it. And I was
I'm so proud.
He can do it.
Jeff has not gotten there yet.
Well, I think so. Jared tends to do OMAD throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever he gets home, it's like his eating window opens up at like 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then it happens until, end of day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he often appreciates having keto chow just like pre-stocked in the fridge. And can you pull up what Jared just said?
Oh, okay.
He's been rocking the pina colada because it makes him feel like he's at work. If that doesn't sum up his life in any, like in the fullness of what his life looks like, I don't know what does.
Well.
So he likes to have those, and I haven't been as on the ball with it because we just started our fall semester of homeschooling yesterday. And that means that my focus is purely on like, okay, I need to get all of these pieces of the puzzle in line and fit into here. And how are we going to do that while adding in the third kid? And so I have not been staying on top of my pre-making keto chow game.
Yes.
It'll be okay though. It'll be okay.
Yeah. So eggs and ground beef are amazing and cheap. And you don't have to have keto chow.
No.
Like it is just one of those fun things, convenient things. Like we pay for convenience all the time.
True.
And depending on where you are in your budget and your life, sometimes you pay for more convenience. Sometimes you save your money and pay less convenience. It's just, that's life. And both of us have been in that same season.
Absolutely. So, yep.
We definitely know what that's like.
When I first went through, first learned about Trim Healthy Mama and then started implementing it and then immediately jumped over to keto, it was like, we have got to be extremely careful with our budget because, single income, trying to navigate a new area. We had just moved. We had, a new to us house to try to like outfit or figure out and trying to figure it all out. And there weren't a whole lot of extra monies laying around for any kind of fancy ingredients. So I had to be real choosy about what I added and what I held off on. And I also can't seem to get my situation proper here. There we are.
It's always
so Chris Bear asked, did I just say that we're adding another kid to the homeschool cycle? That's what we're doing. Yes. Chris Bear, we are not pregnant. We are not adopting. We are currently adding the baby into what it looks like to learn in a more formalized setting. Yep. Yep.
Yep. There you go.
The factory is closed, and now we're just trying to navigate the.
I pay for inconvenience every single day.
Yep.
Every single day.
That too.
But it's so worth it.
Yeah, they are pretty worth it.
So beautiful.
On Sunday.
Until they bring blackberries onto your new carpet.
It's great. Whatever. On Sunday, Lauren got up in front of the kids' church ministry thing, and because she's now officially a kindergartner in church class grades. And so she got up, and the first question she was asked was, "What's your favorite thing to do?" And the kid literally said, "Putting away the dishes with my mom." And I was like, bless. I'm sorry. I'm not the one who puts away dishes.
Oh, that is so cute.
And everybody was like, "Oh, she said I put away dishes with mommy." And I was like, if she said mommy, she was actually saying Molly, because she and Molly have that task.
Oh, and then you'll never be able to complain about her to any of those people, because they'll be like, "But
I'll be like, but why doesn't she like swish the toilet? Like, that's the task she also needs to be on top of." So.
Oh, these children. Okay, so Sing It has a question. Ordered Prime Protein. They just had a sale. That 20% off sale is so wonderful. What's your favorite thing to do with it? Well, probably this. My favorite thing is yogurt with the prime protein mixed in. I'll do like about a cup of yogurt with 1 scoop. And that like makes a meal for me because adding a scoop of the prime protein is like 20 grams of protein. And then there's protein in Greek yogurt, obviously. So that's like a solid amount of protein for me. So that's probably my favorite. I do have a playlist of recipes that I have either tried or come up with myself. Let me see if I can find it. And it, because whenever I do like a special deal with them, I try to create a recipe or two, something new. And I love the cupcakes. They are so good. I need to make them again. I want to try making a cake, like an actual cake and frost it.
Yeah.
Oh, you bought the unflavored. So you know what? I've actually never even used the unflavored of the prime protein. But what I would do with that is if I were making a keto chow and I wanted to bump up the protein amount, I would add the unflavored. I do add the flavored sometimes, but the sweetness is a little bit
much.
And so I've thought about doing the unflavored at some point and seeing how that is. You could do the cupcake recipe with the unflavored because it's peanut butter, and then you do add sweetener. You might add a little bit extra because you're not getting the stevia from the flavored protein. But anything that's like a recipe where you use the powder, you could use the unflavored. You just have to add sweetener or add flavor if you want that. Yeah. That's what I got. Have you tried the prime protein yet, Lindsay?
Not yet. I still have that email sitting in my inbox, and I'm like, I am maxed out at this point.
Yeah. So I've had to like tear down on the things.
It's so hard because there are so many really good products out there that it's hard to just be like, well, I have to be choosy about things because I also am not made of money, and my earnings here on the YouTubes and any of my affiliate earnings, those are what go toward us being able to use these products in our daily lives. And so it's one of those things where if I get us hooked on another thing,
yes.
I don't know I don't know if I'll be in the black or in the red.
Exactly. Yeah, it is very tricky that way. And like as YouTubers, we get all these opportunities to try things. And they, like you said, there's so many good things. It's like, I want to try them all, but it's like, it's a lot. It ends up being a lot. And I've really pared down on like the amount of things that I am I'm still an affiliate for, but like the amount of work I put into promoting certain
one
things.
of them.
So like if I'm, promoting something, it's like I've already pared down. So you guys know that it's like that's something that I really, really use and love every day. Like keto chow, like the prime protein, all that. Anyway. But there's lots of good stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I hardly ever talk about my Amazon storefront because like it's just something that's in the background, and it's just always there, and so I don't really think about it too much. But if like that's the way that I earned a living, I would probably be talking about it all the time. But for me, it's just like my hobby is my YouTube, but it does generate some income so that I can continue justifying the time that I spend on it.
Yes.
And enjoying the things that I do enjoy.
Yeah.
On my channel.
Yeah. Well, and one other thing that I'll throw out here is that being an influencer, like it's open to anybody. Like, so
we're not special.
Really, we're not. We're just regular. We're just the ones that are like talking and on the screen, but it's like, so when I share like recipes and things that I do in my kitchen, it's like, oftentimes I'll be like, I know that there are so many people out there that are doing this better than I am, like that know like more tips and tricks, and like they're actually really good at it. I just happen to be the one that's showing what I'm doing, and so it's kind of a weird situation. But what I was going to say is being an influencer, we do get the opportunity to try things either for free or at a discount.
Yeah.
Or earn commission, which we do turn around and put that back into purchasing
back into
products.
the channel.
Basically, whatever I make on Keto Chow commissions, I put back into buying Keto Chow. But like, that's one way that both of us have chosen to be frugal.
Yes.
And we work like, so some people can choose to be frugal by like making everything from scratch.
Yeah.
And like that, like we've both done that.
Yeah.
And we still do that with certain things. But then another way that we have both put effort into being frugal is that we've created these platforms where we have the opportunity to try things, and, get discounts or whatever. And that's something that everybody can do. I mean, obviously it's not right for everybody and not everyone has time or energy or desire to do it, but that is an avenue out there where you could start a YouTube channel, you could start, an Instagram account, and you have to put the work in like we both have. But then you do get these opportunities as well. So, it's another way that we
are just trading time for goods rather than trading time for monies.
Yes. Yeah. So I get upset comments from people saying you get stuff for free, like angry that people send me stuff for free. But I'm like,
chicken eggs of yours are free.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I've spent 12 years building a platform. Like, how is this free? Like,
right
on the surface, I understand that, but I was like,
yeah,
you have the opportunity, and I do say this to people, is you have the opportunity to do this as well.
Right.
It's not just that I'm something special and they're sending it to me and not you. You could go through the process of creating a platform and people will send you stuff. Like, I opened my email this morning and I had 8 new emails just from overnight of people saying, "Can you review this? We'll send it to you. Can we pay you to review this product?" Like, I get them all day, every day. And I started getting, messages like that way early on. Like, you don't have to get to 130,000 subscribers in order to get opportunities.
Nope.
Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it. And honestly, like, that is one of the ways that I have chosen to put work in to provide food for my family.
Right.
And yeah. So there's my little speech about that for the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a thought during the middle of all of that, but I was so focused on listening to what you were saying that I totally lost my thought. But I feel like you summed it up really well.
Okay. Well, there you go. Let's see. Karen says, I agree with purchasing these great products. I have to pick my favorites. Yep. And so I do hope that both of us, as we review things, it helps you decide where to put your money. Because, you can't order one of everything. I mean, I can't.
I can't.
And a lot of people can't. And so hopefully with our reviews and our recommendations and things like that, that it helps people pare down and decide what they are excited to try or not. Yeah.
I have to shake my head at my husband. Aren't you just so grateful that your husband is probably like using a nail gun right now, or swinging a hammer, or, cutting something with a saw instead of...
I need to read his message. Yeah. Yeah. So true. So true. My husband is off building a house right now. So
right. So he's probably not on the
he doesn't answer my calls because he's probably up on a
scaffolding or something,
ladder, putting a massive beam in place or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I started my YouTube channel, it was back in 2017. So it's been 6 years now, a little over 6 years I started my channel. And it was back whenever they still had the whole like video response to other like YouTube videos. Do you remember that era of
Yes,
YouTube?
that
It
just
was
kinda fizzled out.
it fizzled out and I was so disappointed. So, I was in the midst of like starting up Caitlin's first year or first grade homeschool year.
Mm.
And it was like I was binge watching all of these people, sharing their curriculum for that upcoming school year. And I was like, I just want to share, like, I'm writing a novel every time that I say this stuff. And that's ridiculous. I'm just going to put out a video about what I'm doing. And I was still pregnant with Lauren. I had the camera so far away from me, you could hardly hear me. It was absolute garbage video, but I had such a good time doing it and just like talking about the thing that I was passionate about. I mean, I'm still passionate about it. But being able to like talk about it and share that out, and somebody who may not have heard of those pieces of curricula would have been like, oh, I haven't heard of that one. Or, after that, I did a series where I like kind of walked through the individual pieces of curricula. Like there's one on the science that we used for that year where I just kind of like thumbed through it a little bit, or our memory work that I used, I thumbed through that a little bit, and people were like, wow, this is so helpful. And it's like one-off people who would never probably watch the rest of my videos, but that specific thing helped somebody to determine whether or not that specific book was going to be possible to use in their own homeschool or not. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just really, I really like talking and hearing myself talk about stuff that I like.
Enjoy listening as well.
I hope so.
Yeah. I love YouTube because it's like you get a window into people's real people. Like we have so many like professionally done. Yeah, well, and even like cooking shows and stuff where it's like professionally done, and it's like that's fine. That's a certain, it's
genre,
certain ways, yes. But then with the YouTube, it's like you get to know someone's real life, and it's almost like you get to be a fly on the wall in their house, which I think is really valuable.
Yeah.
Not that we show everything in our lives, like that would be unreasonable, but it's more like a friend relationship than like a viewer to a TV show relationship.
Sure. I also think
people like that.
I think people love that. And I also think that it's a much more conducive environment to be like, why are you choosing to put those ingredients in that way? Or what do you understand about this that makes you think that adding something at this point will ruin it, but if you add that exact same thing at a different point, it's going to make the whole entire recipe entirely elevate. So I just think that you can kind of understand the reasoning behind so that you can take those ideas and apply it elsewhere.
Yes. And so I've always tried to do this with my channel. Instead of just giving recipes, like step 1, step 2, step 3, just cooking the way I cook without a recipe. And it's almost like, teaching my kids.
Yeah.
Like they watch me and they experience like how they how you figure it out on the fly. And that's I mean, there is the place for recipes, of course, but like teaching someone how to cook is different than teaching someone how to follow a recipe.
That's right. It's a technique and a skill.
I've always tried to do that. Yeah. So like my last my video from yesterday, which is a food prep video, pretty much the whole thing was like, let's just pull out all these things from the fridge and figure out how to use them, like there were no recipes. Well, there was one, but I didn't even follow it right.
I say that all the time. I'm like, so here's this, I have a recipe for this, but per usual, I just deviated from that recipe and I did this instead.
Yes. And so like for things like baking, I think it's really important to have recipes, like more important. And once you have those recipes down, then you can start like tweaking and you learn a little bit how you can change things.
Manipulate that. Yeah.
With like cooking a soup, like I've never followed a soup recipe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think ever followed it like to the letter, except for maybe when I was making my cookbook because I had to make
Yeah.
sure it came out exactly right with, the ingredients that I listed. But it's like when I go back and I make like a soup recipe that's in my cookbook, I don't follow that recipe. I just throw everything in the way I know it works.
It's supposed to go.
So
It's
like
more of an instinct rather than I have to be explicitly told step by
exactly.
step.
Exactly. And so I get both kinds of commenters and viewers where they're like, "Where's the recipe? Where's the recipe for this?" And I'm like,
It's a technique, it's not a recipe.
exactly. And then there's others that are, they're like, that's the way I cook. That's what I want to see, which I understand both because there are some people who
Absolutely.
just need a recipe. And
Yeah.
I like to when I talk about like mastery of something, and this clicked with me with crocheting. I was thinking about when I started creating my own crochet patterns. It was only after I had followed 1,000 patterns of somebody else's. And it
Yeah.
wasn't until I had done that that I was equipped to create my own and like,
Right.
be creative and go off and do something different. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
it's very similar with cooking, where
Yeah.
if you're at the place where all you can do is follow a recipe, do
That's
that. Just keep
fantastic.
doing that. And like you accumulate knowledge as you do that. And then at
Mm-hmm.
some point, you'll be like, I think I could try this and it would be good, because of all of this experience that you had following recipes. And that's
Yep.
totally fine. Like that's the progression that
Right.
you don't have to jump into being,
Totally proficient and going off script
exactly, exactly.
from the get-go.
Everyone's at a different place with that.
Absolutely. I like how Risa talked about she does use the recipes, but she adapts it her own way. And I do think that is like probably the way that I kind of started deviating in the beginning is more or less like, okay, well, I don't have this ingredient. So I can go outside of that and use something different and still get something that works well without having to scrap the entire recipe or leave my house to go spend 30 minutes driving into town, get the thing and driving back home.
Yeah.
It's one of those, it's an adaptability kind of a thing. And in the beginning, you can't be adaptable because you don't know what you don't know yet.
Right. Why are we talking? Oh, Jeff is the best
When we were talking about Jeff.
because he's building a house, maybe.
I think Jared just admires Jeff. I think that's just how that
Well,
is.
so do I. So let's see. Francesca says people have no idea how much work goes into creating content. Yeah. And we've talked about this before, where if you do a really good job creating content, it looks effortless. And that works against you in a certain way. You just have to accept it. Okay.
Sure.
Connie posted, I bought a ticket for Keto Palooza, but I'm not mobile enough to go. That is very sad.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, but spoke with Autumn and she said she would transfer the ticket if she can find someone who wants it. So if anybody is out there that is needing a ticket to Keto Palooza, talk to Connie. And that is very cool that she is offering that. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. She did ask what to do with a baseball bat sized zucchini.
Oh my gosh.
I got ideas.
Okay. Zucchini ideas, go.
Okay, so I'm assuming she's talking about the club zucchini, which is massive, like the size of your arm, real big around, kind of a little bit stringy almost on the meat portion of it and has tons of seeds. So I, in the past, have gotten those and I basically just like scoop out all of the guts and peel them and then cook them in place of like any other squash, like on this in a skillet with like, oil or butter or whatever you want to use. I've also roasted it. I also have the ideas of taking cross sections to where it's like the full circle, scoop out the middle, crack it, like start to saute it in a skillet, let it start to get a little bit soft, crack an egg in the middle, maybe add some, other like onion and a little bit of bell pepper or something to that effect, and create like your own little like fun little fancy egg boats of sorts. Also, if you do peel them and then slow cook them or like simmer them over the stove with water and then let those kind of cook down to soft, add some cinnamon and some allulose, you kind of have like an apple pie filling that you could put in any number of things, or put on top of some vanilla keto chow ice cream. I don't know. Was that enough ideas? I don't know.
That was fantastic. Yeah.
It's just a matter of breaking it down.
My best idea for excess zucchini is feed it to the chickens.
I like zucchini, and we have it quite often, so it works for me.
Yes. All right, let's see. Stephanie said, where is it? She wants to be an influencer, but gets nervous. I understand that, but sometimes you just got to do it. And the camera. That's it.
The reality is you're just talking to your own self, to be honest.
Yeah. If the people that watched my videos were actually in front of me, I would be way more terrified.
I think I would be way more animated.
Oh, really? That seems like a lot.
I know.
Because
I'm always
very animated.
I know what my reaction is to the things. Like whenever I laugh at me all the time. I find myself hilarious. And whenever I'm in front of a crowd, like I wind up being like, how can I make them laugh?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
It's just me.
Yeah. JC says, Perfect Keto just launched an annual membership program with some interesting perks. I haven't looked into that. Have you looked into it yet?
I got the email and I have done nothing with the email, not read it, not looked through it, nothing of it. So it's on the docket.
Yeah. And then hint for Chris Bear of Keto Chow needs a membership.
I mean, he's not here right now, but
we should
definitely should persuade him effectively, use our rhetorical skills on him to make it so.
Yes. Okay.
Infinitely Blessed One says, I feel like I'm not diverse enough with my eating to be a low carb influencer. I tell you what, you can find a niche for just about anything, or niche if you prefer the appropriate pronunciation of that word. If you are so consistent with your things, you have the ability to influence people and encourage them and motivate them to maintain consistency. Look at Laura Spath. She does not do anything but carnivore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's possible to be so narrowly focused and yet support and encourage such a vast number of people. She is very good at sharing what she does, and it doesn't seem to get boring or old. She can put out another, okay, here's what we ate in the week. Here's what it is. And it's basically the same thing, just with slightly different iterations, yet it's still interesting to watch, and it still encourages people who are on that specific way of eating to carry on.
Yeah. Well, and
I can identify with someone like this.
And there's so many different ways people eat. And so it's like, I can't share unless I'm sharing 100% carnivore or 100% keto, but that's not how people eat. There are plenty of people who eat some keto meals and some carnivore meals and some splurges of other things, or, so whatever way that you eat, there will be people that find you that maybe are similar, because it's always fun to find people who eat similarly to you.
For sure. And then get invested in them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like, oh, we're the same. We're and on the flip side of that, it's also really fun to watch people eat differently than you.
I know. That's so fun for me.
So it's like, you don't have to fit into some box in order to be able to share. Just share. and it'll resonate with some people. That's kind of the beauty of the internet, is that there's an opportunity for so many people to share and for so many people to view that your niche can be very, very small, but there's still a big audience out there. It's like, you don't have to, like before it was, if you got onto one of the, 3 or 4 different big networks, that was the only platforms available. Now it's like you can create a platform for a very small, like a narrow group of people, but there's a lot of people in that narrow group, if that makes sense.
Because your reach,
you don't have to appeal to the entire country. You just have to appeal to this kind of person. And with the internet, you could reach all of those people.
Right. Now, could.
Yeah.
It's not an overnight success for most people.
No.
It's not an easy process.
No.
There's also, I remember when I first started my channel, I felt excited for every single subscriber. And then once I hit like 300 subscribers, I was like, oh my word, what just happened?
Yeah.
And it felt amazing to me. And then, like I've grown very, very slowly from all of that point forward. And I feel like I've grown tremendously, and I'm appreciative for every single person who chooses to, say, hey, I'll subscribe.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you feel it's like kind of like so slow that it feels stagnant.
Yeah.
But that's common for the typical person doing the YouTubes.
At
some point you will slow down. At some point it will become difficult, and you have to figure out, like, is this worth it for me or not?
Yeah.
Am I getting enough value out of this? Am I getting my bucket filled by doing this or not?
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't get a ton of views. So it's filling some sort of like hobby bucket for me.
Right.
Even though I only have, like 500 to 1,000-ish viewers on a video. And it's still something I want to do. So
yeah. Let's see. My brain had something and then it lost it as soon as you stopped talking.
That's what we do.
That is what we do. Yeah, it is it's tricky with the YouTubes, because the reality is clickbait gets views.
True.
And there's like a rule book for growing on YouTube, and a lot of it involves lying to your viewers or like creating hype around things. And it's just like, you get to the point where, well, I have gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm just not going to do that. Like, it's frustrating when you see other people do it and and they start growing, and you're like, every single recipe you create is not the best ever in the world ever, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I know that, but somehow creating that hype gets the views. And so for me, I just have to fall back on my integrity. Like, if I don't think it's the best ever in the world recipe that ever existed, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it on the thumbnail. I'm not going to say it in the video.
Yeah.
But you watch these channels and it's like the most epic, incredible, amazing thing you've ever seen. Every single video. And you're like, that can't be right.
The last one ever, the end all be all, the only one you ever need, that kind of thing. Yeah. If it was truly the only one you ever needed.
Yeah. It's like, well, the YouTuber last year had the last one you'll ever need too. So
that's right.
Well,
it's cyclical.
Although same thing on Pinterest, where you're like, the best ever, whatever. And there's like 50 different recipes that are the best, whatever. And it's just hype.
Yeah.
And it's like, unless I really believe that it is the best ever, or when I think something is the best, I'll say, I like it the best.
Yeah. I like to give those qualifiers.
You will like it the best.
Yeah.
I try to do that. But the reality is, putting those little words in there and creating that kind of hype is what gets views. And so like even though it's frustrating to see it happen in front of you, I have to go back on my integrity and be like, I've chosen to grow slower because I choose not to do that.
Yeah. I will caveat this with, after KetoCon, my one video, people really believed that it was clickbait, and that confused me, just because of the fact that it actually wasn't clickbait, because there was a technicality, and sometimes clickbait is always construed as being a full-on lie, and it was not a lie, because I can't go back to KetoCon.
Right. So I think we've talked about it on here before. There's a difference between clickbait and clickbait and switch. Like,
yes,
where you're lying to the people just to get them to click. Now, it's like, for example, when I did a gender reveal video, I don't just put "it's a boy" in the title.
Right.
I put, guess what it's gonna be. Like, it's like we do create intrigue,
right,
to make people want to click.
It's no different than storytelling.
Yes. It's like you don't just put all of the information in the title and you want them to click on it. So you try to do something to get people to want to click on it, but in a way that aligns with integrity.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's the trick. And there are times where there was a video I did recently, and I was like, I could title it this way and it would technically be true, but I didn't feel right about getting people to click on it like that. I think it was my Wellness Wednesday where I was talking about gaining weight from exercise, and I could have titled it like, I got fat, or I gained weight, and like had a really sad, face on the front. People would have clicked on it more than they clicked on it the way I titled it. But I was like, I don't feel right about that.
Well, because it's one of those things where I tend to see things like, if I say it this way, it completely misrepresents the core of what this is. So like, exercise doesn't actually make you fat.
Right.
It may change your composition and cause your weight, your gravitational pull, to be harder than what it was before. But it's one of those things where, like, oh, what was that video about the guy who did the basketball thing, and there was some kind of like a physics term for it, like bouncing the basketball off of the Grand Canyon. Is that the one? I don't know. It's like probably a decade old at this point, but basically he didn't title it, like this specific physics principle in action. Instead, he said, watch what this basketball can do in the Grand Canyon. Like, he did title it differently. It was still real and it's still valid, but it, like, if somebody puts out some technological term that I'm unfamiliar with, I'm not likely to click on it. I need some sort of like relatability to the title to be able to say, I understand what they're talking about. I'm going to click on this one to watch the content or not. So
it is an art trying to figure out how to title and thumbnail things.
It is. That's why people pay people to do this.
Yes.
I don't. My friends go to Keto Chow.
Exactly. Because you can make the best video in the world, the best, and if it's not titled or thumbnailed, no one will know it's the best video in the world.
Yep.
You anyways, it is very tricky. So I'm not saying like we all just have to just say exactly what's in the video or else we're being dishonest. There is a sense in which we create that intrigue, or we word things in a certain way that people are like, I wonder what they're going to say about that, and it's just like, that's okay. But there's this delicate balance of lying. Like, you cross a line, and it's just like, well, and then things like well, like when I saw your video, I'm never going back to KetoCon. I didn't know exactly where you were going with it, but I understood that it was a joke. Like I understood that it was funny.
Well, and I think that I
intrigued, like, how is she gonna work this out, But
because that can't possibly
that
be
was
real.
fine. Yeah, there's some of those where it's like, I know that that doesn't mean exactly what she said. I'm just
That's
really curious to
hyperbolic.
find out how she's gonna spin it,
Sure.
And
Well, it's no different than
that's fun.
yeah, it's no different than a newspaper article writer or someone on the news trying to make sure that you are interested in whatever the story headline is so that you watch the story. Um, Jared.
What do you do now?
I can't with this guy. I tell you what. He is much.
Also, it's not clickbait or unethical if it's actually true. Though it may be a little misleading. Yeah. That's why I say it's an art.
It's all about
Like,
the turn of phrase.
There's no like exact right and wrong. You have to see what feels right. And
For sure.
yeah. There's times where I like title something and I'm like, that just doesn't feel, even though it's technically true or, whatever, it's like, that just doesn't feel right.
Sure. I will say, I did go through
every single video. That's going to be it. The most epic, best video you've ever seen. You won't believe what happens.
The last video you ever need to watch until I make next week's.
Exactly. It's so dumb.
It really is.
It does work. Like in a certain sense, it works.
It does. And what's funny is like whenever the writing curriculum that we use goes through and it trains people on how to be persuasive or how to sit there and say, if you're going to compare things, which side of this argument are you on? Are you on A or B? And how do you ensure that you are presenting your case well so that you don't deter somebody from either choosing that side, or how are you doing it well so that it doesn't look like you're the bad guy disparaging, oh my word, Jared, disparaging the other side. I can't. Chris Bear has it right. Lindsay goes full on train of thought derailment at all times. At all times.
You up your game. Start lying to people so you make more money.
I need to do that. And I might need to hire out someone to build thumbnails. I mean, I guess that's just what it's going to have to be.
It seems like Jared has a lot of time on his hands right now, so maybe he could
Chris
start.
Or Jared?
Jared.
Who'd you say? Oh, yeah.
Jared. I mean,
that's why he likes that pina colada flavor.
Now.
Yeah. That's why he likes the pina colada flavor, because it feels like he's at work. He's on the vacays.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
At least we're entertaining.
Here's the funny thing. Jared talks all the time about like, I don't want to be on your videos. I don't want to be a part of this. It's all you, whatever. But then he sits there and he will get on Marco Polo with some of his people. And it's like he is actually vlogging to them. And I'm like, why don't you want to do this again?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. On it.
Chris is talking about Joe and Rachel and that they've been working hard on titles and thumbnails. And it's so funny when you're a YouTuber, you can kind of notice thumbnails and like know what people are thinking as they created it,
Right.
And so I've noticed that their thumbnails have changed. And I think they're a perfect example of like integrity, of not lying to people, but then creating the intrigue at the same time. And it's such a delicate balance to walk. And, and sometimes I'll title something and I'll just be like, no, it's just not quite right. And then, but it's so tricky. It's like, it's an art.
It is an art.
It's not, there's not like this is good and this is bad, like clear distinction. Mm-hmm. You have to kind of feel it out as you go.
Right. Yeah. I had another thought, but then I lost it. I'm not working hard on my thumbnails because we're teaching physics this year.
Yeah, there's no physics involved in thumbnails.
There's no physics. You cannot divide distance raptor by time raptor and end up with velociraptor. It's just not possible.
Yes. Yeah, Judy says how you title your video affects whether people will be able to find them in the searches. And that's so true. It's like, if I can get a lot of people to click on it really quickly, YouTube shows it to more people.
Yeah.
And so there's like, that's why it's so tricky, where it's like, oh, but if I just, just lied a little bit, or just, went a little bit too far, then it gets to like, it's like rewarding
bad behavior,
or rewarding. Yeah. And it's like, and so you have to like be solid in your integrity to not deviate. I mean, it's not how it is with everything in life. Like,
yeah,
you have to be confident in your own integrity. And there are times where it's harder and times where it's easier. And there you
go. Oh yeah. It's a good time. Jared said it best. It's a Greek tragedy, y'all.
Yeah. It is very true that social media rewards bad behavior. Like, it's just a fact. Like, it is. Do something horrible and you'll get all kinds of views. And not exclusively. Obviously, people get good attention for good things, but
sure.
But you definitely can grow by being, hostile to other people, or like controversial
fail videos.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. So it's just
failing. You
just have to accept that. And like, if you're in the place where you're like, I will do anything to grow, that's the place you're in. I have chosen not to live there. I couldn't live with myself if I did that.
I think my next channel is actually going to be a kiteboarding fails video, and it's just going to be me learning to kiteboard properly, and it's not going to work. Jared figured it out. I'm still on the struggle bus trying to work it out. But I think that should be our next channel when we finally start sailing, like blue water sailing.
I would subscribe.
I don't care if you just subscribe. I care if you watch.
As long as it's the most epic kite fail I've ever seen.
I almost got eaten by a shark.
Oh, man.
It's going to be great.
Let's see. Don't encourage that behavior.
That's right. Otherwise, we're going to give you one of these finger wagons.
Okay, Naomi says, just started a channel, Carnivore Crusaders. Tips for someone that is just starting on YouTube.
Figure out thumbnails and
yeah, figure out how not to lie to people, but also create intrigue. That's the trickiest part. If you figure that out,
intriguing integrity.
Yeah. I would say consistency, because there's a lot of people that like come out of the gate like, it's gonna be amazing, and as soon as they see like they're not getting thousands of views on their videos, they're like, it's not working. It's not working. And it's like, no, it can't. I mean, it does happen sometimes where something just takes off immediately and like all the views are there, and that's great. That is like winning the lottery. That's rare. Like, don't expect that to happen. Just consistency. And there are so many channels that I watch that are just someone looking at their phone talking without any cuts or anything. Like, it's just so simple. But I click on those videos before I click on the highly produced with all of the effects and perfect lighting and perfect sound and all this stuff. I click on the real people first. And and a lot of it is just the consistency, because for me, there are certain channels where I just watch every one of their videos that comes out, not because I'm like, oh, they're going to teach me something brand new today. It's that it's comforting to just be in routine with these people. And I connect with them. Like, oh, what are they doing today? What are they thinking today? Or what are they eating today? Even if it's the same thing, like you were saying, the same thing that they ate yesterday. It's there's something comforting about the routine. And so you don't have as a YouTuber, it's easy to get into the mindset that I have to come up with something epic every single video. Like,
Yeah.
every single video has to be the one that goes viral. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't live under that pressure. Like, I'm sorry, I just can't. And it's okay to have just routine videos that just get a
Right.
little bit amount of views from, your most dedicated subscribers that will watch anything that you put out. That's okay.
Right.
Like, every video, for me at least, I cannot have an epic video every week. I just can't.
I can't have an epic video, period.
And also, like, even if I, like, had all the time in the world to create epic videos, YouTube has a mind of its own, and just because I think it should be one that goes viral, don't mean it goes viral, and the ones that do, I'm like, how was
How?
that the one
Right.
that took
And it's
off? I worked
and
so hard on this other one, and it got
right.
nothing.
Right. It's usually
So
those ones where you're like, well, I'm just kind of piecemealing this together. And, I'm still getting over a cold. So my voice sounds real wonky. And also, there's some kid in a diaper in the background. I don't know. I
exactly.
got
Exactly, and so it's like, at some point, you have to
just
be
do
able
it.
to distance yourself from it emotionally, like, the idea that you can control it,
Right.
that's what I had to do, is, like, I can't control it, so it's kinda like, when something amazing does happen, you're like, "Wow, what a treat," and then
Right.
when amazing things are not happening, because there will be times where, views are going down, or it's just
More often than not.
nothing's really connecting, or it feels like it, you're not in control, so
Yeah.
you don't take it personally, you know what I mean?
So I agree with the consistency piece of the puzzle. I think the piece of advice that I have not yet committed to, but really want to do when I find that I've got the time and the bandwidth to figure it all out and work it all out, would be to create series style videos. So, we bought a cow, and I would love to be able to talk about, like, okay, so we bought this cow. What are we doing with this cow? Because we took the bones, we took the fat, we took the
Mhm.
everything. And then say, so here's what we've done with a whole cow, and like have it be a multi-video
Yeah.
kind of playlist. Like, okay, here's how I'm rendering down the fat into tallow.
Mhm.
Here's how I'm using the bones in bone broth. Here's how I'm roasting them for marrow. Here's how I'm using this roast that may not be a typical cut you would find. Or like, I've never heard of this cut of roast before, can I cook it like this roast that I have heard of before? Kind of, it all kind of falls under that concept of, here's a whole cow, what next? And so, like, having like that series style of videos all in
Yes.
a playlist. And so far my playlists are organized horribly, and it's
Yeah.
like, here's 80 what I eat in a day videos,
Mhm.
and then over here's a whole bunch of recipe videos, instead of thinking like, okay, I'm going to make some recipes and share those videos. And then I'm going to tag in to that playlist. Like, here's what I ate in a day. Oh, I ate that thing that I made on that recipe,
Right.
which is right here. And so it's kind of like, it's not identical formatted videos, but they are in the same sort of series of things. Like,
Mm.
and that is something that I personally would like to build toward,
Mhm.
but it's not the right season for me to be able to do that right now. So we're just
Yeah.
keep moving forward.
That I have so many of those things as well where I'm like, "I would love to be able to do this and that and this," and I just like, but I can only do what I can do.
Right.
It's like, and this is
Yep.
all I can do. All I can do is a what I eat in a day video this week,
That's right.
that's all I got. I'm sorry. But I have all these, but both of us, our top priority is not YouTube. Like,
That's right.
we are in a reality right now where our husbands and our kids are our top priority. We cannot spend 80 hours a week on YouTube. Like,
I mean, yeah, I think in this current season, like, trying to get back into the swing of doing more focused schooling for us, because it is the fall time. I am not going to be able to put a lot of thought and effort into recipes at all. It's just the spot that I'm in right now. And I
yeah,
want to,
yeah,
because I've got about 15 different recipe ideas that are actual valid ones
yeah.
sitting in a list in a queue just waiting for me. But the
Mm,
reality is that whenever push comes to shove, I cannot just sit down and film those things, because people still need to eat. Laundry still has to be sort of like navigated. I have to direct the tiny human. It's a lot in this season to try to like go in all focused on that. I mean, I don't even think I'm going to be able to spend, like 4 hours on YouTube this week, period. So brother husbands, do they live in Lehigh too?
So yeah, I said we have husbands and kids that we have to that are our priority. It's like we both have husbands. We each
of us has a husband.
There are 2 total.
Right.
There you go.
Of course, if we did have multiple husbands, maybe then we wouldn't be worried so much about.
Maybe they would get everything done and then we could focus on just YouTube. Might be helpful.
Is that? No.
Okay. JC asked a question up here. If you watch a video for only a few minutes, does it count as a full view? Yes.
Yes.
It does. If you click on the video at all, it counts as a view. But as YouTubers, we have other analytics that we can look at, like watch time,
retention.
You can look like at a certain point in the video if a whole bunch of people fall off, which is like
what did I say?
Ad. It's usually like a sponsored ad for me. Like once I start, saying this video is sponsored by Element, then it's like, boom, I'm gone. Which it is what it is.
You need to have like one of the kids come up with a sign that walks back behind you with like the next minute section where like the ad is no longer, and just be like, click to here if you want to avoid. Sponsored by Element.
So the people sponsoring probably would not appreciate that.
No, I totally agree. And Element's awesome, so I don't want to disparage them.
Anyways, so yes, the view, it does count as a view, but it's like if you have a YouTube, they'll tell you in the analytics, like, this video is not retaining people as well as your normal videos or whatever. So there are different things that we look at.
Yeah.
Pooch flavored keto chow, because Chris had to go take some pictures with some Canadians, which sounds so fun.
It does. Was it Switch Grocery?
Ooh, that would be fun.
I feel like it would be Switch Grocery.
It seems like not, because it was just some Canadians that came.
Yeah, but I mean, he could have been saying that like sarcastically, like some Canadians, but it's like Switch Grocery. Love it.
Yeah, we love Switch Grocery.
I don't use. They're great people. We met them at KetoCon.
Yeah, we did. Well, we're not Canadians, so
we're not. Janet uses them, or at least she did for a long time.
Yeah, and I bet Anita, has she used them?
Oh, I would imagine so. Natalie asked, does YouTube show you where people fast forward through spots? Absolutely, but it's not going to say the words of they fast forwarded here, they fast forwarded here, but you'll see like dips in the graph. Or like a flat line and a rise. Like you'll see like a drop and a spike upward when they've like fast forwarded.
Yeah. Some people in Canada came to Utah to stop by this.
Nope, that says Canada.
Oh,
Canadia.
Oh my God. Okay, we have been on here for an hour and 15 minutes almost.
I know, and I got to go work on some Latin with the girls.
We got some kiddos to check on. I don't hear anything, which is a little concerning, but we're going.
I told the girls to practice piano scales if I was still going. So.
Yeah. All right. Yes. Connie says, I fast forward through the Element info, and so do I, because I already know about Element. So when I'm watching someone else and they're doing it, I'm like, I don't need to watch it. And that's nothing bad about Element.
Right.
That's totally an option for everyone. Just fast forward.
So usually it's double speed or 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
As one last thing to touch on, Sing It has asked this question twice now, and we missed it the first go around. I like saw it in the corner of my eye, but she asks, why is it worth it? And I'm assuming you mean to do YouTube, to put out information, to put out content, to share things. What are the positives? I can tell you from my personal experience that it is a net positive in my life, because it allows me to talk about something that I'm passionate about with people who also find enjoyment in that topic. Because at some point, Jared says, I've really had enough. I understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate that you love the thing, but also I need to think about other things as well. So it's a way for me to continue to share information that I find valuable without irritating him to the nth degree all the time.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, there are lots of positives, and it's easy to come and talk about the negatives. Like somehow it's like we've said before, you could get 100 positive comments and then you get one negative comment, and that's the one that sticks in your head. And that like I try to fight against that, but that's just a reality.
Yeah.
So when we do talk about the difficulties and the negatives, I hope that we work hard to also communicate
Identify
positives. And like we wouldn't be doing it if there weren't positives. So
Agreed.
for me, positives are connection with people. My viewers, like I met Lindsay through YouTube. Like it's amazing. Oh my gosh. Yes. All right, that's it. That's your epic new clickbait title. Anyways, so connecting with people. Another thing that I really appreciate is that I am able to go back and see things that I've done, like as far as recipes and things. I mean, of course, there's like I can go back and watch grocery hauls of my kids when they were itty bitty, which is also fun. But then also like a recipe where like, what did I do with that? How did I make that again? That was really good. Everyone liked that. And if it weren't for making a video on it, I would not remember how to do it. So that's positive.
I go back to my own website all the time, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know I've got that recipe actually like written out.
Yes.
Let me remember, so nice. Like, what order did I do those things in?
Yeah. Yes. So like there's that. There's at this point in my channel, it's a legitimate second stream of income for our family. So that is another reason why I do it. Like it's a huge blessing. Like it's been a priority in our marriage from the very beginning that if we're going to have kids, I'm going to be staying at home with them.
Yes.
That's not a possibility for every single person, but for us, we're like, as much as we can possibly do it, that's what we want to do.
Yep.
And so being able to do this from home and have the kids be involved, it's amazing. And I can make a legitimate second income for the family. That's huge. Yeah. So that's another big one. I mean, I could probably think of lots more, but there's so many. And like with any job or hobby, like there's negatives that you have to deal with, but ultimately it's worth it to continue because of all of the positives. Like,
I would say also, I just thoroughly enjoy the process of making a video, editing it, putting it all together. Like I actually enjoy that process. So for me, it's, like for me and my family, it's truly a hobby. It's not like a side job. And so I enjoy like the fun of it. It's kind of like people who spend their time crocheting or spend their time surfboarding or any other thing. Like they just spend time doing it because they enjoy the process of doing it. And sure, if you can make a little bit of income to offset your own costs, that is even better. But it's ultimately it's still just an enjoyable pastime for me.
Yeah. And it is definitely a creative outlet for me too.
Yeah.
Where, it's like, I don't do scrapbooking or I don't do a lot, but making the videos has been really fun, like learning how to do it. And it's just a creative outlet. And also I was going to mention, I've been doing YouTube since Talia was born and she's 12. And that time having all of those babies is a time where a lot of women are really isolated.
Yeah.
It's hard to have relationships and spend time with other people, especially like outside the home, like just trying to get play dates with other people when you have a newborn, like you're dealing with kids, it's hard to have conversation. And just to have a outlet for me to just talk to people, it was hugely valuable. When
Yeah.
I like making a video and talking to the video in my home was way easier than setting up a coffee date with somebody and going and trying to sit down and chat with them.
Oh yeah.
Way
Oh
easier.
yeah.
And so I think that has been a huge benefit to me, just to have, adults to talk to and to share and to get, feedback from in my own home.
Right.
Huge, huge benefit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe next week when we are doing our coffee chat, we can bring like, this is what happened this week as a YouTuber that actually like filled my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should, because it is very easy just to talk about the negative stuff.
I will forget about that. So somebody remind me. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll try.
Okay. I got to go teach Latin.
I gotta go make sure my kids are alive.
Hopefully they are. I don't know.
All right. Well, it has been a fun chat. It feels like it flew by because we had so much to talk about.
And we didn't even know.
And Jared and Chris kept us going.
They really did. And this is why I'm saying he needs to participate a little more. I'm just in like an on-camera presence situation.
Ooh, I want to see like an interview with you guys, like you interviewing him, or that would be fun.
I'm thinking of all the ways that goes wrong.
Yep. But all the ways that can go right. Let's focus on the good.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.